Hey guys, this is another edition of Summer 66. I'm Emmanuel. Today we are on day number 3. We're talking through the book of Leviticus, and I want you to think the word holiness. Holiness in the ordinary. That's the theme we're going to work through. Have you ever walked into maybe say a hospital room and instinctively felt the need to lower your voice? Or maybe you stood barefooted on the beach and just watched the sunset and you maybe had this feeling of just awesomeness. That is reverence. That is holiness. That's the theme through Leviticus, holiness. The book of Leviticus invites us to live in that kind of awareness, not just for sacred spaces, but every single day of our lives. Leviticus often feels foreign to modern readers like you and me because it's filled with rituals and sacrifices and purity laws and priestly instructions. But at the heart of the story is a stunning relevance. And that is God is holy, and he desires that we, his people, should be holy. The question then is how can sinful human beings live in the presence of a holy God? So when the Israelites were freshly rescued from Egypt and gathered at Mount Sinai, Leviticus was divine instruction for ordering life around the presence of God. The tabernacle that had just been built, and actually Exodus ends with God's glory filling the tabernacle, and now the people needed to know how to live in proximity to a holy God. So the key message of Leviticus is holiness is not about morality, but it's about belonging to God. Right? Oftentimes people read Leviticus and shellfish and this, that, and the other. Leviticus is about holiness, but not holiness as just this call to morality, but it's about holiness belonging to God. Leviticus is God's invitation to a life that is set apart, a life where even meals and work and rest and relationships are all infused with holy significance. And that's an important piece, my friends. Leviticus might seem like a distant book to modern readers like you and me, but it's actually about how near God is to us. The Hebrew word for Leviticus is vayikra, which means he called. He called. It begins not with thunder, but with an invitation. God calls Moses from the tent, and the book becomes a manual for how holy people can live in proximity to a holy God. So whenever you read Leviticus, don't think about rules. Leviticus is a guide to what I like to think of as sacred rhythms, how every moment, every detail of your life can reflect the presence of God. A key verse in Leviticus is Leviticus 19:2. It says, "Be holy because I, the Lord, your God, I am holy." That word holy is kadosh, which means to be set apart for a purpose. Leviticus teaches us that even meal and rest and justice and neighborly love, all of those can be acts of holiness. So the book is not just about how the priest got prepared, it also prepares us to be the hosts of God's own presence. All right. So just a couple of other things to remind you of. Jesus quotes Leviticus actually a number of times in the Gospels, and it reminds us that you don't have to escape the ordinary to live in God's presence, that you can live in God's presence right here, right now. It's about being aware that God is with you. It's about embracing the rhythms of life and knowing that God occupies every single space. So be holy today as God is holy, and it means that recognizing God in everything that you do. I love you guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. And remember, God's got you. Summer 66.